Welcome back to the floor of the CME Group here in Chicago, Friday, August 19th. Thank God it's Friday, or not. Folks, I'm Killer from Treasure Curve. If you got cash, I can help. Get me here at the Killer on my Twitter account or comment here in this video. But honestly, to go back to 1968, Planet of the Apes, it's a madhouse, a madhouse. It really is, folks. We are seeing volatility here. You know, once we got that lack of clarity out of Europe, you know, that whole Sarkozy-Merkel situation, which we talked about, it took about a day for the market to digest, but wow, we really seen the market move, and we had a horrendous day. You know, yesterday the Dow was down over 400 points, folks. 400 points. I think about 419 to be exact. 419, that's a number that Notre Dame usually puts up in rushing yards on USC. It's not a number you want to see up on the big board in a red tone for the Dow Jones. So we're kind of seeing a little volatility today. The market opened up lower. It's bounced back up. That S&P level, you know, I tweeted this morning that 1127 to 1135 band has proven to be a high volume band, and the HFTs are trying to push the market in and out of there, and that 1135 killer pivot has provided leadership, and it continues to. We rallied them all the way up to 1152, which was an old level, which we talked about, if you remember, on Monday when everyone thought I was crazy and out of my mind. I said the 10-year is indicating that the S&P should be trading 1152-ish. Look it on my Twitter account. It's there in writing. Well, that 1152 held as a resistance level today due to the fact that it was a support level prior. That's how it plays, folks. The support becomes resistance, so it kept a nice lid. Currently trading back off around the 1133, 1135 area. I think we're going to see continued chop today. You know, the Florida State, the chop is back. We're going to see it because we don't have any direction. You know, right now, the euro currency is trading at 144, and this is the trade that I just can't get my arms around. And maybe you can comment on the video and help me here, but how is this European currency holding up? I know it's off the dollar, but nonetheless, I think this is the trade moving forward. Maybe this fall that begins to evaporate and gets back down to the 120s, which Dr. J has alluded to many a times. Crude went under 80 bucks today, folks. $79 print. You haven't seen that in a long time. Maybe that'll translate into a little bit of relief at the pump for us consumers. Doubtful it's going to happen over this weekend, but we'd like to see that. But you know, I want to talk a little bit about the 2% yield on the 10-year. You know, I talked about this Monday morning on Squawk Box. I was on Fast Money last night. Hope you got an opportunity to check it. But it was a test I saw on the back and fill. I talk about this back and fill. It's a trader, you know, lingo here in the pits. But on the chart, that 2.03%, that yield, the low end yield that they made, we wanted to go back down there and test. And the 10-year continues to provide leadership, and it did. We went down, we squeaked out a 1.97, rallied a little bit since, bounced back up to that 211, 212 area, but we're kind of hunkered down here continually, folks, until we figure out what's going on. But let's talk about the 2% 10-year bond. You know, oh, that's great. Borrowing costs for the United States government has really come down and drastically reduced. However, it's a double-edged sword. It's really going to be cutting into people, you know, like my parents who are getting ready to retire. They're talking about their 401k plans and their pension, and they're planning it right now. But now all of a sudden, with these yields so low, that return that they were in, those annuities, those bonds have come down dramatically. So cost of living has to be adjusted across the board for the average American, and that is detrimental. That is going to be very hurtful moving forward for all of us. Yes, it's great we have lower borrowing costs, but the big picture, the trump card, is how it's going to affect the average American. So these yields are going to be suppressed for some time. You're going to see people with an appetite looking for more bond yields, maybe some of these corporate bond issuance, a couple hundred bips over the 10-year or even the 30-year like yesterday in Disney. Maybe that's an opportunity to get some yield. But right now at Treasury Curve, we're seeing an influx of assets due to the fact people want to come into money funds. They're seeking diversification. They're seeking safety. It's all about preservation of capital right now, folks. People are scared. There's fear in the market. So I hope the rest of the day we see a little bit of a bounce here to the equity side. I don't foresee it though, folks. I think the fear continues. And next week, I know the HFTs want to go down and check that 1.67% in the 10-year. You know, my trade call for, you know, since last April, once they started grabbing it, I wanted to see this. It's come to fruition. So that's fulfilled. However, we know how these HFTs trade. So I can see in the next couple of weeks them going down and testing that and really putting people back onto the pain train if they're already not on it. So have a great weekend from the Florida CME Group. I'm the Killer. Remember one thing, be the hammer, not the nail.